Indian National Congress kan press and media fraternity ange press briefing tina bisha ayase enaka homoi dia jilaga tin debi Jairam Ramesh MP Raja Sabha Congress Bhawan Dimapur de ekta press briefing tise enaka homoi di tai kuise ki joagali amikha laga chief minister ne firo bra ekta campaign de kuise ki 14 Nagaland Legislative Assembly NLA session de core issue ekta do naga boldigo issue board solution anibole main objective ase konekta kuina takise enaka homoi de Jairam Ramesh pra CM Rio ge question kuise ki 13 NLA session de idu naga solution opodo ki hani prevent gurna aise kuina ekta tai question ekta kurina takise tai kuise ki PJP government bra 2018 de solution I mean election for solution kuina aina takise ulibi itu sal 2023 de bi solution la kotha kore ase which is confusing the Nagas in general guna ta ekta kuina takise aibi amikhan idu laga press briefing about detailed pra idu report sai lobo.
Well, friends, yesterday the Chief Minister of Nagaland has said that the core issue in the 14th NLA, the 14th Nagaland Legislative Assembly, will be a solution to the Naga political issue. This is a statement that Mr. Rio has made yesterday. Well, I would like to ask Mr. Rio and his masters in Delhi, the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, what prevented a political solution in the 13th NLA? Did they think that the number 13 was an unlucky number? And that is why they postponed the solution to the 14th? Remember, after years of negotiation that started in the mid-90s, first when Mr. Narasimha Rao was Prime Minister, it was continued when Mr. Deve Gowda, Mr. Gujral, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was Prime Minister. Finally, in August of 2015, the framework agreement was signed when Mr. Narendra Modi was Prime Minister. The last assembly election was held in 2018. You had a framework agreement in 2015. The BJP's election slogan was election for solution. So why in 2023 we are again talking of solution? This is not solution. This is just creating more and more confusion. I don't think Prime Minister wants a solution. I don't think Home Minister wants a solution. I don't think the Chief Minister, the current Chief Minister, wants a solution. So it's a very irresponsible statement, because in the last 5 years, with the type of majority the state government had, with the type of majority the BJP had in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, whatever solution they had in mind could already have become a reality. So I'm afraid Mr. Modi, Mr. Shah and Mr. Rio, the three men, three musketeers, they are interested only in confusing, postponing. They are not interested in clarifying and getting things done. In the next 2-3 days, Home Minister is expected to come to Nagaland. Prime Minister himself is coming to Nagaland. There will be lot of drama. They will wear Naga dress, Naga jacket, Naga hat. Prime Minister will make new promises when he has not fulfilled the old promises. I would like to ask the Home Minister and the Prime Minister. I don't want to ask Mr. Rio because Mr. Rio dances to the tune of Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah tell Mr. Rio, get up, Mr. Rio gets up. They tell Mr. Rio, sit down, Mr. Rio sits down. So I'd like to ask the Prime Minister and Home Minister, please take the people of Nagaland into confidence on the implementation of all the promises that you made in 2018. Not for Northeast, but for Nagaland. This is election for Nagaland. Please be specific on roads, on water, on stadiums, on political solution. So what have you done in the last 5 years? So I'm afraid both the Prime Minister and the Home Minister will add to the confusion that is being created by Mr. Rio. That is why yesterday when I met you, I said this is election for confusion. This is not election for solution. This is election for confusion. And the only way forward towards a solution should be based on maintaining the pride, the dignity, the diversity of Naga society. It has to be an honorable political settlement which everybody in Nagaland subscribes to. It is not one man or one group. The only way possible is if the Congress is part of the government in Nagaland. Because it is only the government, only the Congress that will protect, preserve and promote Article 371A, which is specific to Nagaland. And I say once more, let the Prime Minister, let the Home Minister give a categorical assurance in Nagaland when they come here that they will not do to Article 371 what they did to Article 370. They finished Article 370 in 8 hours' time. And after 370 it is 371. And 371 has got A to J. So A is the first victim and A is Nagaland. So let them categorically say that we will implement Article 371A in letter and in spirit. That is the first step towards finding a solution. The mood of the people is one of frustration. That big, tall promises were made 5 years ago. And the mood of the people in Nagaland is no different from the mood of the people in other parts of the country. They want change. Lot of promises are made by the Prime Minister. Lot of drama. Lot of headline. Lot of packaging, branding, marketing. But what does it actually mean? In Nagaland specifically, I believe people are fed up with lack of water. People are fed up with lack of proper road. People are fed up with power, lack of power, power cuts. I mean, I first came to Nagaland 30 years ago. And 30 years ago, I was experiencing power cuts. And last 3 days I have experienced power cuts. Not half an hour power cut. Not 1 hour, 8 hour power cut. 30 years ago, this was the situation in Nagaland. So I think the mood of the people is quiet. They want change. They're fed up with violence, they're fed up with false promises, and they want to get on with their lives. And that's what I think the people of Nagaland deserve, the youth deserves. It is true that the Congress party has been part of Naga political life for the last 70 years. It was the Congress that created the modern state of Nagaland in 63. It was the Congress that inserted Article 371A into the Indian Constitution. Many people opposed Article 371A when it was introduced in the Constitution. Many people opposed, including Johnson, which is the father of BJP. But it was the Congress party that introduced Article 371A, and we provided the Shillong Accord of 1975. Then there was a period of long peace. Then again negotiations started in the mid-90s, as I mentioned to you, when Mr. Narasimha Rao was Prime Minister, Deve Gowda, Gujral, Vajpayee, finally Modi. So we have always been committed to a solution to the Naga political issue that protects the dignity, pride and diversity of Naga society and provides a framework that will bring back peace. This has been the constant theme of the Congress throughout. Now, we have not been in power in Nagaland for now 18 years, 20 years. And we've been out of power in Delhi for the last 9 years now. We had political setbacks in Nagaland, if you know what I mean. People who were elected on a Congress ticket left us. So we've had to rebuild our organization. We've had to bring new faces. And one good thing that we have done is brought new faces in front, young faces in front. So it will take some time. I am not denying that we have received setbacks, political setbacks. People who are elected on our ticket should stay with the party. But sadly, in Indian politics, party commitment doesn't mean much. You get elected on a party ticket and then you go and join some other party. There are no shortage of Judases in Naga politics. The Congress party, when Dr. Manmohan Singh particularly was Prime Minister, made a very serious attempt. And a solution was in sight. But it was a solution that had to be acceptable to a larger cross-section, to Manipur, to Assam, to Arunachal Pradesh. And that is where, the issue could not get resolved. But in 2015, this framework agreement was signed and Prime Minister said, I have done what no Prime Minister before me has been successful in doing. But 8 years have gone by. We are still where we are. In fact, now many people I have spoken to, and I keep meeting people from Nagaland, in Delhi also, and I'm in touch with a large number of people. Many people feel that today, although there is a period of quiet, although the violence apparently has come down, the tension has not gone. The tension is still there. So the Congress party, I can assure you, which is in the process of rebuilding itself in Nagaland, attaches the highest importance to carrying forward this peace process. It is not a peace process that can be imposed from Delhi. It is a negotiated peace process. Dignity, pride, diversity of Nagaland is very important. And of course there are larger political issues of the Indian Constitution that are also equally important. So we have to bring the two together. A solution on Mizoram was relatively easy. We signed the Mizo Accord in 1987. And Mizoram has been back on the road of peace. We signed the Assam Accord in 1985. There was a Tripura Accord, the Bodo Accord. So one of the distinguishing characteristics of the Naga political process is that there are many groups, and governments sign agreements with one or two major groups which the other groups do not accept. That has been one of the big structural weaknesses of the Naga peace process. But everybody I have spoken to in Nagaland is of the view that a peace accord has to be based on consensus. It has to be acceptable to a larger cross section. It has to be acceptable to the youth, because the generation that was negotiating in 70s and 80s is now over. We're getting newer and newer people. It's not easy. It's a difficult process. I don't want to underestimate the difficulties involved. And we are not in power. We are not in power in the state. We are not in power at the center. But we were never taken into confidence in 2015. We were not even told what are the details of the framework agreement, if you remember. The details were leaked much later, and even then there was no official statement. When Mr. Rajiv Gandhi signed the Assam Accord was a public document. When Lal Denga signed the accord with Rajiv Gandhi, that Mizoram Accord was a public document. The Tripura Accord was a public document. The Bodo Accord was a public document. But the framework agreement was only a framework agreement. A nice English language. But where was the accord? What are the points of agreement? What are the points of disagreement? That never came from the government of India. So I hold the government of India singularly responsible for this. Because Mr. Modi's policy is not to solve the problem, but to promote himself. His one-point agenda is Modi, Modi, Modi. That's it. He's not interested in solving any issues. That's a big problem.